Hey there. So today we're going to talk about how to replace your job with just 3 clients. No cold calling required, y'all. So, really, here's what we want to do. We want to talk about how the current reality is most sales pros feel like they need to have, 50 deals a year to survive or 10 deals a month, right? It depends on your quota, it depends on your product, depends on the company, depends on your skill set. And the reality is, though, regardless of it's 50 deals a year or 50 deals a week, there's this constant cycling of attract, close, repeat, refresh, start over, right? Each month, it's like the odometer reading on a car. I don't even know if they have them anymore, but counts miles, you punch it for the trip, goes back to zero, right? You boop, 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 goes back to zero. And that cycle is a hard cycle. Now, God bless us for doing it, right? Like, we're successful. We're making 6 figures with that cycle, but y'all, there's a better way. And this video is going to be about how you don't need 50 clients to hit 6 figures. You need 3, at least with our model and how we do it. So I want to walk you through what that looks like, because it's really important to understand things first mentally, right? Like, there's 2 creations. There's the internal creation and then there's the external creation. And if we don't see it inside the blueprint, well, it's never going to happen. So the farthest distance we have to travel is in our thinking, right? It's think and grow rich. It's not work hard, close high, and get rich. It's not generate good leads and get rich. It's think, right? We're in a vehicle because of our thinking. And we talk about this a lot, but I think it's really important. Things have changed. They're not changing. They've already changed. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad author, just released an article about how there's going to be a lot of unemployment, because the reality is the entry-level jobs, white-collar, college-educated entry-level jobs, are being taken over and replaced by AI. In the scale and rate and velocity at which AI is growing and improving, it's almost hard to keep track of. So what does that mean for us? Do we just get scared and keep doing what we're doing, stick our head in the sand and ignore it? No, because we're smart people. We operate with wisdom. So what that means is we just need to upgrade our model. Okay, we don't need to learn new skills. The highest paying skill in the world is sales. It always has been, it always will be. Well, but Paul, won't AI take over selling AI? No, it will never take over selling AI, because when there's high tech involved, there needs to be a load balancing of high touch. So in the same way that people still want financial advisors they can talk to and insurance advisors they can talk to, or even friggin' a mechanic that they can talk to, it's the same way. There's certain pockets that are protected. And so let's talk this through, okay? So again, this is for folks that are earning well, but they're stuck kind of in the monthly grind. Maybe you've tried side hustles. Maybe you've tried doing an agency. Maybe you've tried something with high level. Maybe you tried buying some dude's course that shows you how to, work a second a day and make $1 billion an hour. Maybe apparently they gave me a double caffeinated coffee here, because you're getting Paul a little bit unplugged. But the point is, if you're smart, you've tried stuff, and that's awesome. Like, seriously, good for you, because most people just sit there and they're like, doop doo doo, right? But we understand agency, and we understand we need to look in the mirror and see the boss. Like, and there ain't nobody going to do it for us, right? We live in America, the free enterprise system. This isn't socialist China or Russia. This is, we work, we can control our destiny. And that is a function of, we talked about how we think, but also our model. So there's a thinking piece, and then there's a model piece, right? We talk about the 3 M's: your mindset, your model, and having some type of a mentor, because there's always blind spots and there's always questions, right? So how frustrating it is, you're working something, you just got a question, like, how do I do this thing? And we got to go into YouTube for 4 days, and we get so distracted, we get so confused. This person's saying you got to do, high carb. This person's saying, no, that's going to kill you. You got to do high protein. This person's saying, no, you just got to eat, pig testicles and organs, and you're going to be good. And then we take all these little pieces and we build Frankenstein's monster. So that's why we say you want to have the mindset, the mentor, and the model. And so if you've tried different things and nothing has replaced it, nothing has taken traction yet, that's fine, right? The real problem is you don't have a pipeline problem, you have a model problem, right? Currently, you're paid for transactions. You're not necessarily paid for relationships. Yes, relationships are part of the close, but If you have a job, you are paid for transactions. You can't go to your manager or your boss and be like, yo, dude, I got a really great relationship with this guy. Can I get some more cash? They'll be like, sorry, go close some more deals. So that's the first problem. You're under that oppression of closing. So, and again, commissions reset to zero every month, right? So you're a high performer stuck in a low leverage system. It's like you're a Ferrari on a golf course. You are limited in your velocity. There's just a cool bird out there I'm watching. Sorry. You're limited in your velocity. It's total side note. Not the other day, like a couple months ago, there was this big hawk and it was sitting right there. And I couldn't figure out what it was doing. It was looking, and I looked down and there was this squirrel or something that was just kind of like chilling out by our tree, one of our trees. And I'm looking, and next thing I know, this hawk shoots down, attacks the squirrel, kills it, eats it, leaves. And I go down there later and there's all this fur. It was really kind of gross, but kind of, cool. Anyway, so you're this Ferrari, but you're limited by the environment that you're in. Okay. So you're a high performer, you're stuck in a low leverage system, and we need to change that. So here's the new model. We call it the third option. It's not a new job, and it's not starting a traditional type of business or even a traditional type of an agency. Now let's unpack traditional for a minute for the context here. When I say traditional, let's go with one extreme, which is the brick and mortar. Oh my gosh, don't do that. Okay. You have overhead, you have real estate, you have insurance, you have to hire people. You're limited in who you can hire based on the geography. You're not going to hire somebody from 5 hours away. They're not going to come to work every day. Not to mention, you have to fill the building with whatever tooling you need, equipment and raw material. So that's just, don't do that. On the other side, you have the digital type of models, and you have things like drop shipping. I built a 7-figure drop shipping brand. Waste of time. Don't do it. You have things like, more around this neighborhood of our discussion, an agency model, where you're delivering some type of service to a business. Now, on the surface, that might sound sleek and elegant. I built a very successful agency. We sold marketing services to dental practices, how to get more patients. That business model is a freaking nightmare too. And so when you pick up one end of the stick, you by default get the other end of the stick, right? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People taught us that. So the point here is, you don't want one of those complicated things where you got to learn, right? Like every single one of those models requires a tremendous amount of learning. Now, what happens when we learn something? We stink at it the first time or times through, which means now we're slowing down our progress. What if you could literally just take your skill set of closing or having high-level conversations and apply it to something different that delivered more value, that was very easy to get qualified appointments? So literally you could just show up and close, and then the fulfillment or the delivery was very lightweight as well. So that's why we call it a third option, because an agency model is not that clean. You've got a beast of a time with client acquisition. Typically you have a massive amount of churn. So it's very similar to sales, where they'll stick for a few months and then you got to replace. And then you have a nightmarish scenario with fulfillment. So we don't do that. We do what we call the third path, which is where literally you keep doing what you're doing. You install a system, an engine, to get qualified business owners on your schedule who have been pre-qualified, who have been demoed, who have been their questions answered, they've been confirmed, so they show up. So you literally look at your schedule, you wake up, you have qualified 15-minute conversations that can then turn into a presentation and a close. So it's like a 2-call close, 1-call close ecosystem. And then the fulfillment takes maybe a half an hour, or we can do that for you, right? So we'll handle the fulfillment. We do an 80-20 split if you want us to handle it, but you don't need us to do that. We're not trying to create codependency. We don't want you stuck on the teat. We want you to have independence so you can scale. That's what we love doing, is help minting people making $100,000 a month. And we're very good at it. But again, it's the model. So what's this new model? What's this third path look like? Well, you want to replace your current one-off sales framework and cycle. Let's just start with 3 recurring clients. So how do we get, so let's say there are 3 clients paying $5,000 a month. So that's $15,000 a month. For most of us, That's getting us, if not all the way, most of the way to replacing our income. Now, here's what's cool is you do that work once, friend, and that money's locked in. So you do the work once and you've generated the six-figure income. Compare that to what you're doing now. So let's say that you have a 50-hour a week sales job. You start this part-time, you replace it with 3 clients. Now you can fire your boss, and now you've liberated 50 hours a week and you have the income. So now you're not trading your time for money. You're making the same money you made working full-time, not working full-time. So now what you do is you cut that time in half, 25 hours a week, so you can chase your spouse around the house. You can have fun with the kids. You can eat some healthy food, do some workout, go spend some time with your friends, go to a movie in the middle of the day, travel, do some things that refresh your spirit. You work half the time, and now you continue to add and stack the income. That is the secret. And then, dude, do that. Like, just, we teach people how to hire full-time commission sales reps, so they don't even have to work half the time. But let's just say you stay in that lane. So for us to be able to sell something that a business is happy to pay $5,000 a month for, there needs to be way more value than $5,000 of cost. So how do we do that? So here's the secret. I say this all the time. Sorry, deal with it. If you had the cure to cancer and it worked, you'd be a billionaire by putting Post-it notes on telephone poles. So when it comes to conversion or acquisition or closing, the offer must do the heavy lifting. And there's a great book by Alex Hormozi called $1 Million Offers or $100 Million Offers. You don't need to buy the book, just chat GPT it and get a summary. But it shows you how to have the offer do the heavy lifting. Because if you're selling something commoditized like a copier, then you got to do the heavy lifting. Right? If you're selling something that 1 million other people are selling, then it's up to you. But if you invert that and you sell something that does the selling itself because it's so potent, then you don't need to be a brain surgeon to sell. You don't need to have all these tricks and tactics and all this stuff because the offer does the selling. So what do we bring to a business where they're happy to trade $5,000 a month for? I'll tell you what we bring to a business. Most businesses are broke in a few key areas. Okay. Number one, they miss calls. Now, even if they have their business hour answer calls dialed in, they're missing calls outside of business hours. Those calls are going to voicemail. Those calls are going to an answering service. Those calls are boop, massive gap. Let's say a company misses 20 calls a week during after hours, and their conversion rate on those calls is 10%. So they're missing out 2 deals a week. And let's say their average order value is $1,000. 2 deals times 1,000, $2,000 a week. That's $8,000 a month. Recaptured, done. Next is their speed to lead. Harvard did a study and said, if you can reach out to a lead, so somebody who's requesting information within 1 minute or less, you increase your conversion rate by 372%. If you add an additional minute, so 2 minutes, it drops it by 100%. So it's like 250%. There are no businesses without AI that can perform at that level 24/7, 365, even if they have it dialed in during the day, again, off hours. And here's the reality. Like if a business isn't handling that inbound inquiry or that lead opt-in properly, what are they doing? Just hoping that prospect doesn't go to the next Google listing? Just hoping that prospect just waits around? Like we don't do that anymore. We got the friggin' attention span of goldfish. So missed calls, speed to lead. Number 3 is no-shows. Number 4 is the financial viability of the leads. Think of like a solar company. You know how many tire kickers they have through consuming resources? Well, AI can pull a financial snapshot on that person to see how much cash they have available on all their cards, can pull their credit score, their age, their debt to income, their assets, and their balance of their 401k. So that if they're not financially qualified for the offer, then they remove them from the load of the business. And also, by the way, total side note, is then you can take that data and you can pipe it into the advertising platforms and give them better, cleaner data, which makes the advertising function more effectively. So in addition to you got your missed calls, you got your speed to lead, what about referrals? What about resells? Most businesses are missing just these basics, And listen, even if they've got it dialed in, they don't have it dialed in with AI. And we can agree that with the intelligence, with the speed to lead, with the sophistication, with the learning, with the optimization of AI powered by software, even if they got it dialed in without AI, they roll AI into that, and now they get massive improvements of performance. People understand this. When you install this stuff on a business, and it is an install, everything we do is designed so that the business owner doesn't have to learn much. Their team doesn't have to do anything different. Because right now, the business owners are like trying to adopt AI, and the team's like, no, it's going to cost us our jobs. No. Right? Like they're sprinkling garlic water and holy water on their bosses when they're not in. The bosses are running around smelling like garlic, wondering what the heck's the problem. And it's because of this. So what we do is we install it. It's a done for them, which makes it easy for them to say yes. So when you stack these things, the value of business can pull $50K a month recovered profit that you brought to the table. So we help them with that. And then they're willing to pay for that ongoing because we're profit consultants and we sell profit employees, right? It's like the perfectly trained sales professional, the perfectly trained receptionist, the perfectly trained coordinator, all in one, that doesn't get sick, that doesn't not follow process, that doesn't show up late, that doesn't talk back, that doesn't steal staples when the boss isn't looking, and that executes flawlessly every time. So if you take that and you multiply that across 3 clients, 5K, it's easy to get a client to pay you 5K. Now, we don't start there, because if you try to go in and sell a $5,000 a month recurring package day one, it's like going up to a person at the bar at the opposite sex and be like, hey, you want to have a drink? You want to have sex? I'll pop a baby in there and it'll pop out your vagina. And you want to do that? And you're like, 911. So we have a tiered process where we get them in. We get them in very easily with very little friction, and we let them experience part of the system. Because the other thing is sometimes these businesses are kind of skeptical of AI. So they might want a full install, but they might be a little hesitant because they've never worked with it. And they're like, how's it going to work? Is it going to talk right? Is it going to, is it going to answer? Is it going to be effective? And so we let them dip their toe in the water. So it's light risk, it's super clean. And it's like, hey, let's have AI run on your after hours calls or your overflow calls, something simple for them to be like, yeah, no risk, right? Right now it's going to voicemail. What is the worst that if we had a thing answer it? So we run them through a 1-week trial, and the close is simply, hey, we're only working with a few businesses in this area. And it's important to us that we're working with the right business, because we don't want to scale a business that, is not doing right by their clients. So we're going to allow you to come in for a 1-week trial. It's a way for you to check out the system. It's a way for us to check out you. We're going to do some due diligence on your client, on your customers, on you. We're going to look at your reputation. And then if it makes sense after a week, we'll talk about it and we'll grant you a license. So there's a very stout posture there. And then you just say, hey, look, you'd be looking at $50 to cover the usage, right? We can get you installed tomorrow. And so, oh, by the way we sell it, there's already a demo set up so that they can demo it and experience it right then and there. Boom. So they say yes. The system runs. A week later, now you can look at output from the system, all their skepticism of, will AI work? What is it going to sound like? Is it going to answer the questions right? Isn't it going to, melt us down, right? All that's gone. They've received value and benefit, and perhaps even revenue and monetization. Now you can talk about an install. And the way we do it, there's an upfront setup fee, 5 to 15 to 25K. So when I talked about the 3 clients replacing the income, that didn't factor in the setup fees, right? So imagine that. So now you can take a setup fee. You can have somebody else install it. We'll do all that for you if you want. And now they're making money. The business owner, here's I was talking to one of our clients, one of our members yesterday, who was telling me about one of his clients. And he said, Paul, the thing that's fascinating to me is that this client, it's bringing him so much peace of mind. And I thought I knew what he was talking about, but I don't like to assume things. So I said, tell me what you mean, Chris. And he goes, the client is so peaceful now because he knows that every lead coming through is being handled with excellence every single time. And we were on one of our elite coaching calls, and I said, everybody pay attention to this, because this is one of the greatest things that you bring to a business. See, a business owner is struggling right now. They're freaking out, man, because we know things are changing. They're wondering, are my competitors getting ahead of me with AI adoption? our, how is this stuff impacting our clients? And so when you can bring to them business performance and peace of mind, they're naming their kids after you. That's why we don't have any issue with churn. None. In the businesses that we install this in, dominate their marketplace. And we let them know that. And we let them know that that's why we're picky and we're selecting them. They're not selecting us. And so when you put all these pieces together, you can replace very high incomes with very few clients. And not only that, I'd say that it's cool that you can replace 6 figures with 3 clients, but I'd say what's cooler is you can work one time. So it's the equivalent of working 2 months one time to generate 6 figures for the next 5 years. I just want you to think about that for a minute. Okay? And then you can advertise and you can acquire more. What happens we find typically is these businesses start to refer people like crazy. We had people that are shutting off their ads because their referrals are just exploding. So you want to control your time. You don't want to be controlled by a boss, a manager, a quota, a company that gives you crappy leads. You want to control your pipeline of qualified leads. You want to control your time. You want to control your process, and you want to control the client relationship and payment. You want to own the income, right? You don't want the income to cycle through a company who pays you and who can change the comp plan at any time. Anytime. And I guarantee you, in every one of your contracts, there is a stipulation where the company can change their comp plan at will. And many of you, that's happening. And we've talked to people every day, all day long, who company just pulled the rug out from under them. Companies changing, they're going up, they're going down, because the problem is the companies don't know what the hell they're doing because everything else is changing so fast. So you got companies, so you don't want to be in that, game. You want to have fewer clients, better outcomes, more freedom, and you want to be able to control the velocity, right? So what some people do is they'll work hard for 2 months and then they'll take a month off. And they'll work hard for 2 months and then they'll take a month off, right? They'll collect setup fees, they'll collect monthly retainers, stack income, boop, 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 and then go play. You can scale, you can keep it lean, right? We can teach you how to hire a full-time, full commission sales reps. We can teach you how to hire a American to virtual operations manager to run everything, literally. So you can have this whole thing operating without you. And you can, there's work in the business. There's the technician, there's the manager, there's the work on the business, and then there's the work above the business. And that's where you want to be. So, keep it lean, scale it up, and you're paid because you close. Not only when you close. You're paid because you've closed, past tense, not when you close, future tense. So look, if you're serious and this has sparked something in you, then below here, there's a link to book a 15-minute call. Leave your credit card in the freezer. You cannot pay us even if you wanted to on that call. It's impossible. What the purpose of that call is a meet and greet. We meet you, you meet us, we talk. We see if you're even eligible for our program. We have obviously a program where we install this system, get you up and running within a week or two. Super simple, super clean. But most of the people that apply, we just don't take on, honestly. Right now, we're accepting 4 clients a week because we install all the AI, right? The AI you're selling, you use. So we run ads into your AI system, which produce those 15-minute calls. So we do all that. We help you all with it. So you can just, boom, stay in your lane. And you're looking at around $400 a month. That's leverage. That's with financing to get our help. And then typically what people do is they just pay it off in a few months. So they're out of pocket, maybe $1,500, and they have a 6-figure asset that's generating income for them. But there's a link. There's also a Skool group where we map out about 90%, 95% of our system. You'll see the ads, you see the scripts, you see the frameworks, you see how it all works in that Skool. So, underneath, click one of those 2 things. And, we break it down exactly how it works inside of the training. There's no fluff. It's just the system, the scripts, the setup, the process. And I just want to encourage you, whether you do something with us or you do something with somebody else, do something. Because y'all, I'm just telling you, things have changed. And when things change, there's a lag effect. Things change over here. They're already done. There's no fixing, but it takes a minute for it to catch up. And we're in the middle of things have already changed and it's just catching up. So anyway, I don't want to keep harping on that. I'm not saying that to scare you. We don't believe in fear. I'm just saying that to encourage you. You're on the right track. Like, you're thinking about this. That's why you've even seen this video. So keep pressing in. Of course, we're here. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help. we'd love to consider you for one of our slots, because people that work with us, not to brag, we're not that smart. We understand systems, right? We've built things. A lot of people that are selling this kind of stuff, they've never built anything. They're just riding the AI wave. We're not really on an AI wave. We're on a business wave that we're utilizing AI, but it's fundamental business kind of like basics, right? Like the things I mapped out. It's not rocket science. And you can get a business about 90% of the way there without going into all this sophisticated build, this complicated tech, all this nonsense that people are spending time doing. You don't need to do that. You already know how to sell. You just need to talk. You need people to talk to, and you need a product that delivers value that they don't churn on you. That's it. And you need somebody to help you make sure that you have all the pieces in place. It's not that hard. So proud of you for being here. You've got this. Rock and roll.